Hello. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Elias.
Good evening.
Good evening, bro. Please, what about you?
I'm fine on your side.
Thank God.
Yeah. For some of our colleagues.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so earlier I said we should wait for about 5 minutes, and I think we can start with
Yeah.
today's lesson. Okay. So, yesterday we met and we finished the unit 1, and I said we'll be looking at public choice and political economy today. And please, did anyone find out what public choice and political economy is all about? Hello? Okay. So when we talk about public choice, we are looking at various theories that applies to various tools that we use in economics, right? So some of the tools looking at something like choice, or making a rational choice, or looking at something like the game theory. These things help us to understand or have a better understanding of political actors, right, and the functioning of various political institutions in the economy. So what this public choice helps us with is that it would challenge our perception about the government, why the government or how we understand the government's actions, and how the government's actions are served in the interest of the public, or how they are served in the interest of the people of the economy. and also how personal incentives and also how strategic interactions shape the policies or the decision making of the government or of the economy. So on the other hand, we have the political economy. So the political economy is looking at it's that one rather has a broader focus, unlike the public choice. With the political economy, we are looking at how broader economic impacts or how political decisions impacts our economy, and also the interrelationship or the interplay between the policies of the government concerning the economy and also the political structures we have in place. Right. So if we go back to the basics, if we go back to what we learned back in our high school, where we had to look at the forces of demand and supply operating in the market system, and where we have an equilibrium, right? Okay. So the basic underlying factor of this public choice and political economy is that it's just plays it comes to play in order to promote transparency and also to promote accountability amongst the people of the economy and the government, where we know that the government is mostly made up of political persons, right? Because we vote for a certain political party to come into power, looking at their structure and their aims and objectives, and how we can balance that with what the economy needs or what the people of the country need. Okay, so moving on, we'll have a look at what and please, the next slide, we are going to look at what public goods and what public services are briefly. So when we talk about public goods, we've already made mention of them in our first unit, right? So what did we say public goods are, or what did we say are some of the examples of public goods? And please, am I audible at all?
Yes, madam, there is sound at your background.
Yeah, that's because I am still on campus. I'm in school, that's why. So apologies for that. Okay, so as I was asking what public goods or public services are. Please, are we still here?
Hello, madam.
Yes, hello, Miss Ellen.
So public goods are those that are provided by the government for everybody to use. For instance, roads.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Edward. I saw you. I'm seeing your hands up.
Okay, public goods are the services. go to Apple like Wi-Fi.
Okay,
Well,
I
Madam,
didn't
please
quite
get
get that.
started. Very
Okay, please give me a minute. I'm coming. Let me readjust myself.
Colleague, please, just the sound. Is it from the lecture's end or one of us?
Yes, it's from her end. So she's trying to adjust it.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
And please, is this better? Okay, and please, and I treat all of us to kindly mute ourselves so that we wouldn't be getting feedback. So if you are unmuted, kindly mute yourself so that I'll be heard very well. Okay, so Mr. Edward, please can you come again? I'm not sure I got what she said. Please, am I audible? Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so it means I'm audible.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, okay. Mr. Ilyasu, please can you mute yourself? Okay, thank you. And so, yes, as Miss Ellen rightly said, the public goods are the public goods and services are goods and services that are basically produced or initiated by the government in order to promote equity and balance our social statuses in the economy. So, also in the first unit, I made mention that we have two characteristics of public goods. I said one characteristic is it's non-excludable, and the other one too is non-rivalry. Anyone remembers what I said about those two? It's being non-excludable and it's being non-rivalry. Miss Faustina, please, I can barely hear you.
Please, can you repeat what you said?
Okay, so I said, with the public goods and services, in our first lesson, I made mention of two characteristics of them, or I gave us two characteristics of the public goods and services. And the first characteristic was non-excludability, and the second one was non-rivalry. So I'm asking if there's anyone who wants to just briefly explain, or anyone who recalls what I said about those two characteristics. Okay, so let me just go over them again. So when Miss Faustina, please, are you speaking? And please, am I the only person who isn't hearing her well? Okay, so when we talk about non-rivalry, it means that
within the health.
Pardon? Okay, so with a non-rivalry, we mean that with the consumption of the good or the service, when one person consumes the good or service, it does not reduce the availability for another. So, let's say, for example, Mr. Ilyasu and Miss Faustina live in the same community and they all want to access the health care or the clinic that has been established in the community. If Mr. Ilyasu is to visit the hospital facility first, it doesn't mean that the service Miss Faustina would get from the healthcare or the health center would be less as compared to what Mr. Ilyasu received, right? That is what the non-rivalry as a characteristics of public good is talking about. So once a person has consumed the good or the services, it will in no way reduce the availability to the other person. Okay, so when we talk about the non-excludability too, we mean that it is impossible to exclude anyone from using the good, even though maybe the person might not have contributed to it or the person might not have been involved in the contribution or the person might not have helped in any way. Okay, so I think that day I was using an example of the national defense, that it is the duty of the national defense to protect its citizens, every citizen of the country. So if um, Ms. Faustina is a taxpayer and Mr. Ilyasu is not a taxpayer, he is not excluded from the defense or the protection offered by the defense of the country. He is still included because the defense of the country or the national defense is a public good which is given to everybody in the country. So that explains public goods and services being non-excludable. Okay, and one thing we mostly find out about public goods is that they often face the free rider problem. Has anybody heard that term before? Okay, please, Mr. Yasu, what does it mean?
Yes, it means it will not prevent others from using the public good. Everyone is entitled
Mr.
to
Yasu,
the.
please, I didn't get that well.
I'm saying that it simply means that others
Okay,
cannot be exempted from enjoying the public good.
okay, okay, thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, so as Mr. Yasu rightly said, free rider problem simply means that everybody benefits from the good and no one is exempted from it. Also, without the person's contribution or with the person's contribution to its costs, it doesn't matter who paid what for the establishment of that good. It doesn't matter if you're a taxpayer or you're not a taxpayer. No one is exempted, and all individuals benefit from that. So, with this, imagine that we left these goods into the hands of the private sector, where we left it to businesses and firms to manage or to provide these services. You will find out that there will be under provision of these services because these firms cannot easily charge consumers daily, right? So it will lead to under provision. And here the government would have to step in to provide these goods, right? And how is the government going to provide these goods? The government would have to tax the citizens in as much as the goods are being provided by the government for the citizens. The government would have to tax the citizens in order to provide for these public goods. Okay, So why are public goods important? They are important because they are crucial for the social welfare and economic stability of the nation or of the economy, where we've already said social welfare in the sense that nobody, regardless of their background, will be exempted from having access to certain goods and services. And also so that the government will be able to allocate resources efficiently to make sure that everybody receives according to what they are due, right? And this allocation often involves significant public expenditure, where in the planning of our budgets, the government would have to factor all these things and make sure that everybody is getting what they are due and making sure that all people in the society are having are being taken care of, and then there's social welfare for everybody, and then there's a collective societal well-being. So that's it, that's for the public goods. Okay, so we have instances where we have even though the government, we've established that the public sector is the government providing goods and services to ensure efficiency and equity to maintain social welfare and societal stability. But we have instances where there are public and private partnerships. So with the word public and private partnership, what do you think would be happening here? It looks like today my people are very down, so I am going to be putting people on the spot because I think I really enjoyed yesterday's lecture, but today looks like it's less interactive. So I have two of Mr. Isaacs here. I have one with a blue background and one with a violet background. So Mr. Isaac with a blue background, what comes to mind when we hear public and private partnership or public-private partnership? Hello, Mr. Isaac. Hello. Am I still on? Yes, Miss Faustina. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Yes, I can now
I
hear
think
you.
I think it's a long-term contract between the government agency and that of the private
Okay,
sector.
exactly. Okay, I saw Mr. Is this Salisu? I think I saw Mr. Salisu's hand up.
Yeah, my please, dog. Yeah, yeah. It's where government and a private sector come together to do some production for the benefit of the citizens of the country. So in that way, they have the joint venture.
Okay, 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 exactly, exactly. Thank you very much. And we are all very right. So, as the name says, public private partnership. That's just like a collaboration between the government and the private sectors of private sector companies, where in this situation, both sectors are trying to leverage on the strength of each other, right? So we are looking at the public sector's regulatory and oversight capabilities, and then the private sector's efficiencies and innovation. So both parties will leverage on each other's strengths to make sure that resources are allocated efficiently and in equity to the citizens of its nation or to the citizens of the economy. Okay, so what does the private sector usually do in this agreement? So with the private sector, we are looking at they providing initial capital investments, because we find out that most of the times when the government want to initiate projects or undertake projects, the financial capability to do that mostly isn't readily available. So they would have to look for private individuals who will be willing to loan them or who would be willing to invest in those projects. So while the public sector is ensuring that the projects they want to undertake aligns with the interest of the private sector, the private sector is also providing capital investments to the public sector or to the government to make sure that these things or these project services or goods are established or they come to play. So if this is what is happening, if the private entities are joining forces with the public sector to provide such services or to undertake such projects, right? What do you think will be some of the benefits of having a public-private partnership? Okay, so we can take it from this side. We can look at the advantage or the benefits of having private-public partnership, and also we can look at it from the disadvantage point of view. So anyone can just see either the advantage or the disadvantage. Yes, Mr. Edward.
The advantage here is that the private man can bring money or technology or human resource. But madam, I have a problem here. The screen, who is controlling it? I'm begging.
Okay, I asked the course rep to share the screen because when I try to log in with my laptop to the Google Meet, it just goes blank. So I cannot share my screen. So I
Where do you hear me that how much is the lesson where you can see? The
pardon?
background is not
And Mr. Edward, please, I'm not hearing you.
I said
Yes.
this is not matching with what you are telling us. So sometimes get confused. And the background, the man is
Ah,
human.
okay. Okay, thank you for prompting me. Coach rep, please, can we move to the next slide? I'm also not really seeing the screen. It goes off and come on, so I'm not keeping track of that. Kasha, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think we'll move to um the one with the heading public expenditure.
Okay.
Okay, and Mr. Edward, please, the point you made, we didn't really get it.
But if I get in here,
Madam,
Hello.
I said the advantage is that the private man comes in with resource, as in cash, money, human resource, and technology.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. And anybody else? So what is one disadvantage, or what would be one disadvantage of this? What do we think would be one disadvantage of public-private partnership? Mr. Mark Seshi. Apologies if I didn't get the name right.
Madam,
Yes, please.
it's, its sustainability is questionable.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mark. Miss Faustina.
I think accountability and transparency will be a problem.
Hmm. Okay, how so? Because I think both the government and the private are both involved in this. So we are all keeping checks on each other.
Okay. So the services that are provided can become less private companies.
Miss Faustina, please, we barely hear you.
So I'm saying that the services that are provided by the government can become less transparent if the private companies
Okay.
like it's a bit harder for the public to hold for a public or a corporation accountable compared to that of the public sector.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Miss Ellen.
Okay, so I see profit motive as a disadvantage
Okay.
because mostly private companies are into profit making. And if government collaborates with a private company to produce something, mostly the private company is thinking about the profits that they are making, and government will be focusing on the benefits the people to be getting. So sometimes this may lead to the collapse of the collaboration or the company.
Okay. So in the project falls the um, government and then the or the public sector and okay. Miss Faustina,
Think there will be a risk of failure.
please can you come again? Hello. Oh, I don't think the network is doing justice to us today, but nevertheless, let us continue. So we,
Hello.
yes, hello.
If I say there will be a risk of failure and bailout.
There'll be a risk of failure and
Bailout.
okay, how so?
Like for instance, during the 2008 financial crisis, we got to know that several PPP projects faced bankruptcy, and then the government has to step in and have those deals, and that's a security purpose.
Okay, okay, okay. So with that being said, that is the brief. That was all about the public choice and also the um, political economy, yes. So with the next one we are going to be looking at what public expenditure analysis is about. So, Koshe, please, on our course outline, what is the topic for Unit 3? Please, does anyone have an idea? I'm trying to get hold of it. Okay.
Unit 3 is taxation, pricing,
Okay,
public
so I think
expenditure
I've finished.
analysis.
So we are done with the public
Expenditure analysis.
Yes, public expenditure analysis. So, but we have just tackled the public-private partnership. So let me quickly go through the public choice, the public equilibrium, political economy and decision making, and interest group. Okay, then we can finish with the unit 2 for today. Then tomorrow, Wednesday, God willing, we'll treat the public expenditure analysis. Then we can do the presentation for our group works on Monday. Then, God willing, next week Wednesday we'll look at unit 4. Then we can use the next week for 5 and 6. Okay. So I think the slides didn't factor in the PPP, the private-public partnership, and then the public choice and the likes. So I'll just give you a very brief highlight of what that is. Then I'll give you, Kosha, please remind me to give you slides on those topics. But for the meantime, you can just put something down. Okay. Okay. So let's look at our public choice. So with public choice, as we said earlier, we are just looking at how economic, we are looking at analyzing how self-interested individuals interact with political processes, right? And then with this, we want to challenge the notion that the government's actions are always in the public interest, looking that anytime a political party is voted into power to become the government of the day, we are saying that the actions of that government might not always be in the interest of the public, right? But rather, these decisions made by this government or the government who are political people would often reflect the self-interest of those who are involved in the government or who make up the government. Please, is that right? Did you get that? Or should I take it again?
Please take it again for
Come
us.
again.
Thank you.
Okay. So I am saying that with the public choice theory we want to analyze how self-interested individuals interact with political processes. And this analysis is based on the fact that we are saying that even though we have voted a people of a political party into power, and they are supposed to do things in the interest of the people or in the interest of the public. We want to debunk the fact that when they come to power to come and be the government of the day, they make decisions that reflect their interests or that are in their interest, rather than looking at what is good or what is suitable or what is in favor of the public or in the interest of the public. Okay. So here, basically, in every decision that every decision that the political body will do, or every decision that the government would take, that decision would make sure that it is maximizing that individual's utility. Okay, so let me use, for example, this is just example basis. So let's say that the government of the day is His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama and his cabinet, which is from the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, right? So it is the mandate of the government, even though they are coming from a political party, to do to align their actions in such a way that it will be in the interest of the public, right? But with the public choice, we are seeing that it is not always the situation that the government will do things in their interest or to their benefit, because maybe they are coming from a political party. And so, as I think yesterday, I've forgotten who mentioned that instead of the government of the day to maybe focus on allocating resources to the places that they don't have, they maybe, because I am coming from the central region and I become the president of Ghana, I'll be allocating resources to the central region. Please, are we getting that? Please, hello, please, am I still here?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, we are hearing you. We are hearing you.
Okay, please, but are you getting? Okay, that's good. Okay, so this is why I said, please, someone else ask a question. Please, is anybody asking a question?
Yeah. Hello, dog.
Please, I'm Miss Frank. I'm not a talker yet. Can you go ahead?
Okay. Thanks for giving us opportunity.
Right here.
Yeah. As we said, that when the political party comes power,
Yes.
we have to do the interest of the people. But
Okay.
it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It has been happening for decades. If able to satisfy what we want the political people to do, we should start up and then draw our policy for the years ahead of us and put it down. So any political party which comes power must follow, else they will come and do their shadow work and go. Else Ghana will still be on the way we are. If only we want to do things in right way. This is what I also have contributed about it.
Yeah, but how feasible would that be? How feasible, and who are the people who will make these laws or these theories and put them down that any political party that comes to take over as government should follow? And which people will be making these decisions?
Yes, we can do. If only we say we do, we can do it.
We as a people.
We are more than that, but we vote them for the power. So if somebody, a group of people from central region, from northern region, 16 people who are maturely about the country. We stood up. If only we want to fight for our freedom, this is what we should do. Look, the Americans, this is what they do. They have their policy. When you come, follow it. For example, they was having some a policy that they have to fight with the Iraq. That current government who came follow it and go and they fought with the Iraq. So this is what we should do to control, to regularize the political people. Else we still be on the way we are.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that contribution. Okay, please, does any other person have any contribution? Or I can go ahead. Okay, so as I said, with the public choice, the main idea is making a rational choice, right? Where individuals make decisions that will maximize their utility. Okay, and here individuals or groups will lobby for their benefits, or will lobby for policies that will benefit them individually rather than the policies that would benefit the general public as a whole. So even though we are coming from different backgrounds to come together to come and make the government, in decision making, I will lobby for my side, or I will lobby for my part, or the place where I'm coming from, right? Rather than taking decisions that would benefit the general public as a whole. And also, like, for example, in our country, we see that if these political parties come to power and then they want to be re-elected for the second term, that is when they start doing some things. Like, that is when they start initiating some projects and doing some things that would convince the general public that they should give them the second chance to come and do things right. But when they came initially, you see that everything or every decision they made, every project they made was geared towards their interests. But because maybe they want to have a re-election for the next time, they would prioritize making decisions that may not even be feasible, that may even run for just the short term. And at the end of the day, we don't know what is happening. And at the end of the day, they'll be misusing our resources and leading, and there'll be a case of inefficiencies. Okay, and also, with public choice, we are saying that this public choice theory is just providing us a simple framework for understanding the complexities of political decision making, right? And the potential they have for making decisions that are self-interested rather than making decisions that will favor or cater for everybody or every soul in the economy. Okay, so let me give an example. So with public choice, maybe when we want to do public choice analysis, we will be focusing on we would examine why some public projects, like maybe infrastructure, are being prioritized over others, right? And then we would also look at the influence of lobbying, and then how these political people are bargaining for that. So using infrastructure, then we will find out that after analyzing the issue, they will see that, maybe the MP for Katamanso decided that his people made the people from which he had the highest votes vote is boom. So therefore, when he has gone to Parliament to lobby for resources to construct roads, he will end up constructing roads for people in Bong and leaving those in Ashaimanata Deka and the likes. Please, do we get that scenario? Please, do we get that?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Okay. So with this example, we will know that it is illustrated that self-interest and political influence would undermine the intended goal of our policies. So maybe our policies are to generate roads, maybe our expenditure factored roads into the budget. But then, because of our self-interest of these political persons or political figures, and then because of their influence, they tend out to satisfy their self-interest, focusing on where there will be benefits and rather than focusing on where the whole economy would be benefiting. Okay, so that's all, or that's basically the summary of the public choice. Then let's move to political equilibrium. So with political equilibrium here, we are saying that it is a concept that would describe the stable state in which strategies and policies of political people are balanced, right? And no single altar would solely change the outcome of whatever the policies are supposed to be. Okay, so here in the political context, equilibrium would happen when a policy platform can defect all other platforms in a majority vote. Okay, so for example, in a two-party system, right, both parties might converge on similar policy positions, right, to capture maybe the highest voters, which will lead to a stable political equilibrium. So yeah, we are saying that for us to have a political equilibrium, right, we would have to have a state where our strategies and then our political actors are balanced. So we wouldn't have strategies put in place or projects put in place, but we would have our political people, our political figures making decisions or jeering these policies or strategies in their self-interest, right? But then we would have the public or the public interest being looked at or being accounted for. So let's say that in a local election, right, maybe the election we held not long ago, the majority of voters prefer moderate policies, or they prefer policies that will favor them. But the candidates from both the major parties are likely to adopt policies or positions that will attract the majority of the voters. Okay, so this will result in equilibrium, right, where extreme policies are are unlikely to be implemented. So let's say we are going for election. As we went for election some years ago, you found out that there were some policies that were being implemented by the previous government of the previous political party that the people of the nation weren't in agreement with. And because we wanted there to be equilibrium, these political parties themselves also came to a conclusion that you see that the candidates who are standing for these positions, even though one candidate was from the previous government and one candidate was from the opposing government, they were all kind of agreeing to one, how should I say it? They were agreeing to certain policies because both of them wanted to get the majority of voters. Okay, so now they tend to gear their policies or their campaign towards the policies the people of the nation are cheering for, or the people of the nation want to come to play. I'm not really into politics, I don't really follow, but can anyone give us a scenario of what happened in the just past elections where we had both political parties campaigning the same policies, which was also being shared by majority of the people in the country or in Ghana? Does anybody have an idea?
Yes.
I can use the according to
Please
the
come
previous
again.
government, those people have
Hello,
yes.
Miss Faustina, please can you come again? Or Coach Rep, I'm not hearing you.
The 3 SHS policy.
Okay, so please can you tell us briefly how the opposing political party then and then those in power were aligning their campaigns towards that?
Oh, it was later on argued that it seems the now sitting government was the one who even proposed it, and the one who just left the seat for the current government also was saying that it was their own policy which they have brought, and therefore most Ghanaians also had the interest in that policy because a lot were complaining that without that policy, most of their learners, most of their awards were left at home. But because they introduced that policy, their awards are able to attend bigger schools, which they never thought they could have gone. So it was something that was a tag of, should I say, tag of war between the two political parties, because one was taking an ownership of it, and the other one was also saying it was this or a policy which they wanted to bring forth for Ghanaians to enjoy. So I think it was something that they stood on to do their campaign for the just ended election. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So it means that because these political parties wanted to all win, for lack of better words, they wanted to win the voters' hearts. So they decided to come together and meet at a point of agreement, or meet at a point where one party's policy would not have an advantage over the other. So, Ms. Faustina, if I get you very right, it means that the two governments or the two political parties were both claiming that they are the pioneers of the free SHS. Okay, they are the pioneers of the free SHS, and therefore, since the people of the nation want free SHS, then they are at equilibrium because Party A and Party B are both agreeing on free SHS in order to get the majority of the voters, because the voters are saying they want free SHS, right? So if we both meet at the free SHS policy, then we all have a chance of winning the government or the governmental seat. Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Faustina. Okay, so
Hello.
now,
Hello.
yeah, hello, Mr.
Please,
Ibrahim.
Though we agreed on free exercise, the ruling government then when the current government wins power, they are going to cancel the free senior high school. All was just geared
Okay.
towards maximizing votes for themselves.
Okay. 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 Thank you very much. And Mr. Salisu, I saw your hand up.
Ah, yes, madam. Yes, the current government were also saying the purchase was 419, but later they saw that people have the interest in it, so they came with the equilibrium and tell the public that when we count 3 we are going to do it better. Then with that, they won the vote from the citizen people. So it's true what you are saying. They all came to the equilibrium.
Okay, so it means that the current government was very fast to mobilize enough of the voters. Okay, and thank you all for your contribution. So we'll go on to look at the next point, which is political economy and decision making. So with this, let's look at it in the context of Ghana. So with the political economy and decision making in Ghana, this involves the interplay or the relationship of political and economic factors in shaping policy choices, right? So we are looking at our political and economic factors to decide or to shape the kind of policies we we enroll or we execute. Let me put it that way. Okay. So then again, in Ghana, we know that the government decisions to implement policies such as the Ghana Living Standard Survey and the National Health Insurance Scheme reflects a political economy approach that balances economic and social objectives. So, in as much as decision making is influenced by maybe your party's ideology, your electoral considerations, interest group, and the likes, still we have certain political and economic factors that will shape these policies. Maybe before you even came to power or to take government or to come and be the sitting government, you had ideologies from your political party. Okay, you had ideologies from your political party, and then you had various interest groups who were supporting you, also having their policies they want you to implement. But as you come to power, as you come and take charge of the economy, your decision making would have to factor into consideration, yes, these political backgrounds or these things said by people of the interest groups or people of your party ideology, right? But also the economic factors in the country or in the economy would balance these decisions. And please, apologies for the noise in my background. I don't know what they are doing. They are drawing something, but sorry for the noise. Okay, so let's look at this example for the free SHS we were saying. So we'll see that the Rhodes Party decision to implement the free SHS policy was influenced by electoral considerations, right? Therefore, they found it needful to fulfill a campaign promise, right? So, in as much as maybe, please don't come for me. Maybe it wasn't in the interest or it wasn't part of the plans of this ruling party to implement or continue with the free SHS, but because they found out that the people of the economy are really geared towards having this free SHS, and because they wanted to establish an equilibrium, so they have to go ahead and execute this free SHS in order to fulfill their campaign promise or the promise they made during their campaigns. Okay, please, is that okay? Okay, so in decision making too, we'll find out that there are some other people who also play roles or who are involved in our decision making, such as the parliament. Even though exactly if we all come to a consensus that we are going to implement this policy, we know the parliament is made up of both the ruling and opposition, right? So then, if we want to implement these policies and then we go to the parliament and then some way or somehow the opposition is more than us, would we be able to factor or implement these policies? No. There will be something that was said in our campaign but wouldn't come to pass. But fortunately or unfortunately for us, or anytime we have a ruling government, they have the majority in our parliament. So executing policies by the government or the political party in power becomes very, very easy because the opposition aren't enough to counter their policies. Okay, and also we have other factors like the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Ghana, and all those things. They play different roles in shaping our policy choices, and they are also there to ensure checks and balances, just to make sure that these policies we want to implement are very effectively implemented, and also that the sole aim of public sector is achieved, that there's equity and then there's social welfare in the country. Okay, then we move on to look at the next point, which speaks about interest groups and lobbying. Okay, then I think that would bring us to the end of unit 2. So our interest groups and lobbying is the next thing or the last thing we are going to be talking about. So as I've said, I said that before any political economy or any political person, any political individual, any political party will come to tell us about their campaigns or the policies they have for us. These campaigns are being sometimes fueled by their political ideology or their certain interest groups, right? And they'll have to find their way and lobby for these things to come to pass or these policies to come to play. Okay, so with interest groups and lobbying, they play a significant role in the political economy of Ghana and also our decision making, right? So some of these interest groups, what are some of these interest groups that is common to us here as we are on this platform? Please, am I audible? So I am asking that as we are as a group, which is the most common interest group, or what is the common interest group amongst us?
We can talk about the teacher union.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much, Mr. Pius. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Yes, the teacher union. I don't know if there's anything like Ghana Teachers Union. Please, is there anything like that?
Yeah, many.
So Ghana National Association of Teachers. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, that's all of us, our union. Okay, so we have other interest groups like the Ghana Employers Association, the Ghana Medical Association, and the likes. So these people, they represent their interests and then they represent their members, right? So if we have NACT executives here, What they stand for is the interest of teachers, and what they stand for is the interest of its members. Okay, and with here, they would go in to lobby with the government so that the government will make policies or shape policies that will benefit them, right? So their sole motive, if any political party is to say that, okay, no, let me rephrase this. If NAT decides today, we all come together and say that there's something we need. If this government does not do for us, we'll vote against the government or we'll vote them out. What do you think will happen?
They must comply.
They must comply. Exactly. They will do exactly as we want. So there was a time UTAG went to strike and saying that, oh, if you don't meet our allowances, if you don't meet our terms of conditions, we are putting down our schools and we are not teaching. And I remember one time in school, very long time, I think when I was in, was it 200? Something happened like that, almost a month, no lecture. We were all in our hostels and our dormitories because the UTAG decided that the government wasn't meeting some of their requirements and therefore they were not going to teach. And this meant that it was going to affect their votes for the next voting. So they had to go and lobby with the government to meet their terms of service, so that the government too would not be at a disadvantage and have these people not voting for them in the next election. So this is how our interest groups use various tactics. They have so many tactics they use in making sure that policies are shaped or they influence the choice of policies in their country or the choice of policies that the government would enroll. So some of their tactics are, as I said, lobbying, or they use advocacy. Sometimes they come and educate the public. There was a time that I think the Ghana Medical Association also went on strike. That was quite recent because the policies were not in their favor, or whatever was going on were not at an advantage to them. Okay, so there was a time too that the Ghana Employers Association lobbied the government to reduce taxes and improve the business environment, right? And as I said, the Ghana Medical Association also advocated for better working conditions, and then the government giving good allowances to healthcare workers or medical workers. Okay, so one thing we can do as interest groups is to form very strong coalitions or form alliances with other groups so that we can amplify our influence, we can amplify our voice. Imagine that the Ghana Teachers Ghana National Association of Teachers and the Ghana Medical Association joined hands and decided that they were going to lobby or advocate for terms of services. And imagine that the Ghana National Association of Teachers and the Ghana Medical Association were working independently, joining forces and working independently, which would have drawn the attention of the government more. Please, are we here? Yes, Miss Ellen.
Please, working together.
Yes, working together. Because imagine if our teachers just walked out of the classrooms and then our medical workers were not working. Imagine the chaos there would be in the country, right? So in order to make sure that we influence the policies, it would be good to also come together and join forces to make sure that the policies are shaped or geared towards our interests. That is how sometimes the government in power make decisions, because interest groups are on their neck. There are political people on their neck. The people where the regions where they are coming from is on their neck, and all those things, getting them to be in a confused state. However, don't you think that interest group influence in Ghana can be problematic? What do we think about this?
Yes, it's very true.
Okay, how so, Miss Faustina?
Um, um,
What I've observed so far is um when we are in need of maybe allowances or for increments, we pass through this interest group just to at least send our concerns to the government, to at least listen to us and then do our wishes for us. But in turn, it seems all that we will know is they will use this to go on strike. Then we will go. Then I don't know whether when they go, they are giving something or whatever, which we don't know. But we wouldn't get what we expected. And all of a sudden, they'll ask us to go back to the classroom. So in this case, I think at times they do not work in favor of us, but for their own selves. So that is why I'm saying at times they are not interest group to us. They don't show any concern to the whole group as a whole, but to their own selves. Thank you.
You're very much welcome, and thank you very much, Ms. Faustina. So you are talking from the point of the executives of the interest groups, right? Okay, thank you very much. Anybody with a different opinion? Why do you think these interest groups in Ghana can be problematic?
Yes, I think it's problematic. Sometimes they make some demands from the government which are outrageous in the sense that they will be making some demands that they want the government of the day to do for them. If not that, they will go on strike. And they don't consider how others workers are also feeling or other interest groups. They are looking at only their interests. They don't care whether others are paid or not, or others are employed or not. So looking at that, I think that their activity sometimes is detrimental to the nation.
Exactly, Mr. Elias. Thank you very much. And Mr. Edward, please you can go ahead. Mr. Edward. Okay, Mr. Pius, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you
hello,
very much,
madam.
madam.
Coming to
Okay, Mr.
my,
Edward, please
my,
hold on. When Mr. Pius is
yes,
done, you
I
can
yes,
take
yes,
the floor.
Okay, so mine is to contribute in the form of a question to Mr. Eliasu's response. Why interest groups should be problematic? It seems when you were defining, you said the interest groups, their main goal is to protect the interests of their members. Whatever they are always demanding for is for the welfare of their members. So if he say that they sometimes demand for certain things without considering other people who might be affected by those demands, then I'm not sure that one might be problematic because they are protecting their members. And I'm not sure that one might be a little bit difficult. Like, for instance, if teachers are going on strike, I'm not sure they demanding for salary increment or more allowances having an effect on students will be a problem because the students are not part of the teachers. Hence, cannot be a problem. I don't know if you are getting the explanation.
Yes, very well, Mr. Pius. I get where you are coming from. Okay, please over to you, Mr. Edward. Then we'll come to you, Mr. Isaac.
what I would say here is that by the name interest group, they always stand in for their members at
detriment of others. So in this case, always these activities pull down the economy of the state. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Edward. Mr. Isaac.
Hello, madam. Good evening, and good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
I I think what my last brother just spoke is to respond to Pius this thing, because if you check, we are not talking about their demands. We are talking about their demands leading to a certain action. Because when you table a certain negotiation and that is not given to you by government, possible some you call for a strike action. We saw a lot of labor agitations here and there, and the third party will be affected. That is the children. How about parents? So that is what we are talking of. That their actions might they are okay for pursuing such an action. But how about the general public, the rest of the people who would have also benefited from them? Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you to Mr. Isaac. Yes, so exactly so. We are looking at how these interest groups' decisions or their interests would affect the general public's interest. So yes, it can be problematic because, as the name suggests, interest group, and they are looking out for their interests. But while prioritizing their interests, what about the interests of the public as a whole? So yes, you are not having a good a good terms of service, right? But I don't support the fact that the government is not supposed to give us good terms of services. No. But have we thought about the kids we are teaching? Have we thought about the parents of these kids? Okay, so in lobbying for our interests, we should also consider the interests of the public as a whole. Because even though you are a teacher, you have kids who are students, and then you are a parent as well. That doesn't debunk the fact that don't advocate or don't lobby for a good term of service, or don't lobby for increments in pay or allowances. Do that. But then our interest should be in the interest of the whole economy or the whole public. Okay, so overall, our interest groups play a crucial role in our political economy and how we make decisions, right? And then, even though they play a role in our decision making, we should make sure that their influences may be carefully managed, right? We should make sure that if some time to come we become the people in government, we should make sure that we manage the interests of these interest groups, or we should manage the influences of these interest groups to ensure that the policies or the choice of policies we make would serve the interest of the public as a whole, not just focusing on particular interest groups, thinking that, oh, because maybe majority of the statistics says the majority of voters came from teachers, so every allowance I'm giving to teachers, or majority of my votes came from medical doctors, therefore even if teachers are advocating for increments in salary, I'm not paying attention to them, and then I am rather increasing the allowances of medical doctors. We shouldn't do that. So this is how interest groups influences our political economy and our decision making. Okay, so that is all for Unit 2. Any contribution, any question, any suggestion, any addition? Hello, please, are we all here?
Hello?
Okay. Please, any contribution?
Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Oh,
hello.
yes, we the interest group, we do normally consider the problem. Because if you have to go by what the government is teaching us, then there will be a chaos in the country. For example, we must even embark on strike. But looking at the situation where the children and the parents are complaining, though what we want from the government, we don't get back. True, because we are passionate of the problem, we rather put our tools down and then come back to the classroom. So I can also consider the problem. Else it will be chaos for us because you be demanding the government will not do that. Government will spend a lot of things on his political power. So I can also be best to consider the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and God bless you very much for doing that. And please keep on doing that. Mr. Pius,
Oh, good evening, madam. I wanted to find out can there be an instance where an interest group will be purely neutral? And if they are neutral, can their demands be met? Because when you observe Ghana, the interest groups we are having of late, they are mostly aligned to a political party, even though they come out publicly to debunk those kind of things. When you take teacher unions, for instance, where not like this, it seems there are certain governments, a particular government, when it's in power, the way they agitate for terms and conditions for teachers are not always the same when a different government comes. And you can always see that when a particular government comes, most of the some of the leaders always grab some political appointments, so they are not able to agitate for more uh, allowances or more benefits for their members. Same can equally be said about the nurses. So can there be an instance where interest groups can be purely neutral, and if they are neutral, would their demands be met without they necessarily aligning themselves to a particular party?
thank you very much for that interesting question. So I'll throw it back to you. Do you think or do you think that there can be any interest group which should be neutral of any political party?
Yes, it can be, madam. Yeah, it's true.
Please come
If
again.
they if they will be neutral, it will go to help the government and it won't shame the government. When they are neutral, if you don't listen to our people, we are going to lay down our thing. You see, the government will listen to them and do that. But because of we have differences and they are cheated, that's why they are not get what we are demanding from the government.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salifu. But as Ms. Faustina rightly said, these interest groups have executives, right? And these executives are the ones who advocate for the interest group. Do you think it is possible that these executives don't belong to any political party? Mr. Edward, please go ahead. Then I'll give my final words. Okay, then after that, Ms. Faustina. Mr.
Madam,
Edward,
hello.
hello, please go ahead.
What I will say here is the neutrality here will never come. Simple because the individuals are from different homes and have their own mindset. Because in Ghana, there no different group is into attack the president or the government of the day. But the individual leaders, they are from different houses and different associations. That's
Yes, yes. Well said, Mr. Edward. Ms. Faustina, please, the final submission.
why Madam, thank you very much. As rightly said, that I also support the fact that there isn't any neutral because each and every one of us
has an um, an interest in a political party. So definitely it's going to influence us. So if I am an executive member in one of the interest groups, definitely when an opposition party comes, I will definitely agitate for um, some interest for each other. So each and every one of us is having a political party which we are much affiliated with. So I don't think it's possible for us to ignore the fact that there's nothing like having interest in a political party. So I think there's nothing like neutral representation.
Thank you very much for that great submission, Ms. Faustina, and that is very true. Before we became part of these interest groups, or even being part of these interest groups, we all have political parties of affiliation. So, Mr. Pius, in order for us to be neutral, it means that the people of these interest groups should be non-partisan. And can this be possible? You think we can have people who are non-partisan? No. One way or the other, you will belong to a political group, and therefore there can't be neutrality. Okay. Any other questions before we end today's class? Okay, thank you very much for your time and your audience. I'll quickly ask, I don't know if you've already selected group leaders but um, I want one person from each group to choose a certain number. So I think we are 7 groups, so the topics are 7. So you choose between number 1 to 7, or as I put the assignment topics down, you do the assignment based on your group number. So let's say if you are group 1, you do question 1. If you are group 2, you do question 2. Or we want to balance. Question, please, what do you think?
I think that way it's okay.
Okay, so we should do it according to the group numbers and the question number.
The group number and the question number is number 7 or group 7. It's probably only one person as we speak.
And and has everybody written their names?
Mm, mm, I'm the only one who said my name in the group 7. And my name has been there. No one has added to it. So it means that I'm the only one who is going to perform the task.
Okay, Pastor, can you join group 6? So we'll have 6 groups now. Okay, then we would have 6 groups. So the last group would be, I think, 5 members. And I'll put the question there, and then you would do the presentation, or you do the assignment according to your group number. So if you get questions, if you're in group 1, you are taking question 1. If you're in group 2, you are taking question 2. And please, we'll be doing this presentation on Monday, God willing. And Wednesday, God willing, we'll continue with our unit 3. Okay. No, sorry, apologies. We are doing our unit 3 coming Wednesday. And then we'll do our presentation on Monday. Then, God willing, next week, Wednesday, we'll treat unit 4. Then the following week, we can treat 5 and 6. Then we will be done within the 1 month allocation for us. Please, are we all okay with it?
Yes.
Okay. So once again, thank you very much for your audience and for your time. I know we are very busy people, but thank you for joining the class. and I hope we had a great time. And so, see you all, God willing, Wednesday, and please be safe.
Thank you.
Okay, so bye bye.
Bye. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
And safe journey.
Group 2 members, please, where are you?
We are here, Osafosti.
I
Please,
don't have
so
a
what's
group.
up, small,
I don't have a
small?
group now.
He said, Brian, he
I
said
don't
he
have
should
group.
join the 6 members.
Join group.
You are
So
a
we
man
join
alone.
group. So
Yes.
You are,
join the group.
you are a man alone.
Only one there. You
You are a man
So
alone. Don't
join
worry.
the group.
Mr. Man, please, what's up here?
Please, the
I will
flight.
do.
I
Is that
can't
the line
see
on
you.
the
Kindly,
platform?
what's up here?
Is that the line on the
So we
platform?
can create a group and start something. Pardon?
Is that the line, the WhatsApp line on the
Yes, please.
platform?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Elias, the
I'll,
flight. I
I'll
think
do
we
I'll
that.
do that.
Elias, please, will
Is
you
there
create
is there
the
any
flight
slide for
and
anything? We don't have any slide though. So you
Come
people
again.
are going to and it's a very dangerous date. So let's be clear.
The assignment to come for document for you to read.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. The assignment will come with a document. We are going to use a budget to do the analysis. So it will come with the budget.
Sorry.
So did you hear what I said?
Please, police, the slide. Has he given us any slides?